I'm John Rhys Davis, and I am engaged in a mortal combat here called Ready Player Golf. We're doing this as a fundraiser for Médecins Sans Frontières. I have to say, yesterday when I was learning how to connect up to this thing, I was the most grumpy old man you could imagine. But today, wow, dear me. I honestly think that I've discovered a new outside sport. Well, maybe not outside. What a fabulous game this is. What a fabulous companion I am playing with. Young Ben there, who is probably taking a photo of this as I talk. Anyway, Médecins Sans Frontières, one of the most important charities that you could ever support. I urge you to do it. And what better way of doing it than actually getting on the golf course yourself in this Ready Player Golf. Contest number 1, the first in the world, and I'm swinging the club, baby.
Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to Ready Player Golf. I'm Richard Ward, and one of the things we need to work on in this VR thing is how do you obviously clap when you're holding plastic things in your hands. So what I'm going to ask is just wave your hands when it's time to clap. So let's do a quickie. Yay! Everybody got one like that? Excellent. At least we got some visual feedback on these things. So here's the deal. Ready Player Golf was an idea that actually began on the Pro Putt game. I was playing a game with Jenna Seiden, and she does a lot of charitable work. And we're sitting there kind of talking about things, and I had this idea, and she actually gets all the credit for saying, you know, Richard, I think it might work. Maybe you ought to go try it. So one of the things about the show today is that really it's a show about thanks. So thanks to all of you for your not only your participation and your time, but also your donations to a worthy cause, but also just kind of the talking it up and the support and hanging out together. And of course, nothing like this is possible with just a single person. So there's a few throughout the show here. I would like to say thanks to a couple of people. So some of the first people that I'd like to say thanks to is our show producer, Alina Mikova from Less is More, as well as her team, including Mikhail. So I'm going to keep yelling out names so we can keep, we'll keep going. Obviously, David Whelan and his team from Engage. We have Eileen, David, and Chris Madsen, who without them, we would not have been able to put all of this together in the event. It's a great platform. I certainly recommend it. And then, Inga Petreskaya and her team, Victor and Tanya from TVORI, which are doing incredible things for us. All of these animations that you saw, we were able to put those together in TVORI, run them as quick prototypes, and then actually bring them into Engage. It was really quite a fabulous experience. The other teams that we'd really like to say some thanks to, I don't know if Jason Cleverling and Ryan are here from Putt, but we actually ran this entire exercise kind of officially supported by the Putt team. And so that's kind of many of the technical things that we were able to do and pull off quickly worked really well. And then also I'd like to thank Elizabeth Petrov, if she's here from Skipty. So this whole idea that somebody could actually push a button, rent an Oculus Quest, have it shipped to them FedEx, set up and ready to go. Skipty and Elizabeth did it. And of course, Elizabeth, some of you played with, she came and she was like an excellent sport on this whole thing. So now we kind of get to the part of this about why did we do this and how are we helping? And so the thing that I would like to reveal to everybody today is that as of this morning, we, all of us as a community, were able to raise a donation in the amount of $12,207 for MSF. And I really think that's something that we should all be very proud of. MSF is an incredible organization, you know, and in fact, Laurence Lombard, who is the corporate relations director, and her team of Tina and Matilda really kind of helped us with a lot of the legal issues and the things that we needed to do. But for those of you that are not that familiar with MSF, Doctors Without Borders, we have a little presentation for you that I think you'll find interesting and also interested how we've decided to present it. Shall we?
Doctors Without Borders, also known internationally by our French name Médecins Sans Frontières, or MSF, is an independent medical humanitarian organization. Founded in 1971, MSF won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1999. Today we have some 33,000 staff on the ground in roughly 70 countries. We work in communities affected by war, natural disasters, disease outbreaks, chronic neglect, and other crises. We treat people based on medical needs alone, regardless of race, religion, or political affiliation. On any given day, we assist patients who have no other access to healthcare services. Our medical teams can offer critical services such as surgery, maternal care, vaccinations, and mental health counseling. When people are forced from their homes, we focus on treating illnesses and injuries. We work to prevent disease outbreaks in refugee camps and other settlements. We treat malnutrition and the consequences of sexual violence. Our advocacy message is always the same. People at risk should be able to access health care, and medical workers, even in active conflict zones, must be able to provide it. And life-saving medicines and vaccines must be affordable and accessible to the people who need them most. The ongoing support of our donors, together with the profound commitment of our aid workers, will allow MSF to provide independent and impartial assistance to people in crises for a long time to come. We know that the future holds many challenges for people around the world, but we also know what's possible when we go where we're most needed with the materials we need to deliver life-saving medical care.
And so we got a little hand clap on that one. And to provide a little context on that, we're actually very honored. MSF, is a real-time serious organization, and as such, we're actually very honored that Avril Benoit is the executive director of Doctors Without Borders for the entire United States region and manages sort of a huge organization. Actually took some time out of her day just to record a little message for us. So putting on your best R2-D2 Save Me Obi-Wan Kenobi hologram. Here we go, Avril Benoit from Doctors Without Borders.
I'm Avril Benoit. I'm the executive director of MSF. Doctors Without Borders is the English translation of the original French name Médecins Sans Frontières, known internationally as MSF. We are an independent, international medical humanitarian aid organization delivering emergency aid to people affected by conflict, epidemics, natural and human-made disasters, and exclusion from healthcare. I hope you had a wonderful tournament and enjoyed this first global virtual reality golf tournament. Congratulations to the winners about to be announced. And on behalf of MSF and the patients we serve, I want to express our deepest gratitude to all the attendees, both the individuals and the companies represented, for your support during this tournament. I'd also like to express our gratitude to the sponsors for supporting MSF during this one-of-a-kind event. And of course, a big thank you to Richard Ward and the planning team, who chose Doctors Without Borders, MSF, as the beneficiary of this first ever virtual reality golf tournament. Your support means that we can provide critical, life-saving health care. Frontline health workers are saving lives every day, responding to emergency medical needs wherever we see the greatest opportunity for us to deliver help. For example, right now with the pandemic, we're working in more than 70 countries. And we are responding to conflicts and measles outbreaks and all the usual things. But with the pandemic, it makes this work much more complicated. And you can imagine the dedication of our teams. Even in the United States, not a place that we normally would have medical projects, we felt that this was a real opportunity to use our expertise in working in epidemics and these kinds of situations where you need really strict infection prevention and control. And so we had a number of medical teams working in different parts of the country. Right now, they're still working in Puerto Rico and in Houston, in long-term care facilities, and also with street-affected people. So this is the work we continue to do because we want to show how much we appreciate the support that Americans have offered us. And of course, we still work in places like Yemen, which is experiencing a conflict with all the attendant destruction and crumbling of the healthcare system. So young children are at risk of malnutrition, women are at risk of dying during childbirth, and of course we have the pandemic. So our teams are working very hard and they could not do it without your support. So thank you again for everything you've done here today, and may the best winners win.
Well, thank you very much. Next year, we're going to get her into one of anybody got one of those full volumetric holographic recording studios? We're going to get her into one of those things, right? And so a couple other thank yous that I would like to make is John Rhys Davies here? John, are you here? John Rhys Davies back there, fame of stage and Hollywood. You may know him from the films such as Indiana Jones and The Lord of the Rings. And you obviously very kindly did that little intro piece for us. And is Louisa Spring here? Is Louisa? So Louisa very kindly knows John and has known him for years. And when I was talking to her and actually talking to her on the Pro Putt course, she said, "Hey, look, I know somebody who would love this and would have a great time doing that." And John, of course, originally had some support from a lot of people in the Isle of Man. So Chris Kissick, who is the new Minister of eSports for the Isle of Man, who knew such a thing, right? And also Paul Kane, who's the owner and manager of the Ellen Van Inn Hotel, who has actually a full LBE location-based entertainment thing that was supporting John as well. Also, Laura Hall, the VR girl, she's like one of the premier streamers that does VR-only streaming. She actually played around and streamed that out and was pushing it out. Turns out it was incredibly popular in Taiwan, so we can't always control where things go, but that was actually a great thing to have. I'd also like to thank some of our media friends, Kathy Hackle, Charlie Fink, David Janot, and John Joning. They provided lots of pre-event coverage, as well as we think there might be some interesting stories that come out of this afterwards. And also, I'd like to thank my friends at McKinsey. I went kind of like virtually down the halls, if you will, and twisted a lot of arms and was helped to get a lot of the donations going. But especially, I'd like to thank Daphne Henley, who actually works and previously has a history at MSF and was able to make a connection for us and get us to actually speak to the right people to kind of discuss an idea like this, because as you can imagine, they're very popular, and this is kind of a weird idea. So they were very supportive and that sort of things. So no, enough of the thanking. I know that's a good part, but let's get to the important part, which is who won, Richard. And as such, what we're going to do is we have a variety of skill-based trophies, and of course there are no prizes, right? So the IRS doesn't need to know about it. And what we're going to do is we're going to play a little animation. You guess what the prize is for, and I'll tell you who the winners are. Number one, please. So our first winner for the first prize is Nirav Desai. He actually got the closest to the pin on the hole that we were measuring that. The closest to the pin shot is that when you make your tee shot, right, and it goes all the way, but it does not make a hole in one, and it gets closest to it. And Nirav was our very first winner. I don't believe Nirav is with us today, but he is our very first one, and we will send him a nice appreciative. I think we have a screenshot of him actually hitting the shot, so that's good, right? All right, here we go. Winner number 2. See if you can guess this one before it gets to the titles. So the longest drive. And I don't know if she's here with us tonight, but actually Harriet Bartlett from Laval, who many of us know from the VR community and the work that they've done, actually came in and just knocked the cover off the ball. There we go. That's the politest way to do it. And she actually got the longest measured shot on the hole that we were measuring the longest drive for, right? So for those of you that have been practicing, it turns out, and now I think it was one of these holes where if you hit the rock just right, you get an extra 100 yards out of it, but she hit it. And it worked perfectly for her. So we'd like to thank Harriet for that. Okay, here we go. Our third contest. Let's see. This one's on your tables. So look down on your tables. All the way from one of my favorite places in the world, Paris. It's Nuruddin Sadi. So I don't think Nuruddin's with us. Are you with us, Nuruddin? There you are. Congratulations, man. We have the winner in the audience there. You hit the longest putt, and it was a fabulous shot, and I think that was a great thing to do. All right, so here I have a question for us. We added, because something unique happened during the tournament, right? And we're going to show it to you because we actually were finding things on these certain holes. And so I have a question. Is Mikhail Gehring and Helen Higgenberg, are you guys here? Raise your hands. All right. You know what's going to happen. Keep calm. But everybody else, take a look at this.
Oh, show me what?
All right. Mikhail hits the ball.
Wow.
Looking pretty good.
Oh, yes. Oh my God.
And Helen thinks this is all pretty fun, right? Then, of course, it's Helen's turn. Wait.
That's not so
Wait. Oh! So we had a double hole-in-one with Helen and Mikhail, and that was truly a fabulous thing. And the guys from Pro Putt were telling us that they think that that's the only time that's happened on that particular hole on that course with any particular players. So there you go. Thank you very much, Mikhail and Helen. All right, now we're getting to the really serious stuff here, like who really won. In order to do that, I must summon my special powers, and I will bring wine from the sky. Down, down, a little faster. So when these hit the table, they will be active, and you'll be able to pick them up, and we'll be able to do a little cheers for our two kind of big final announcements. So let's see. I think I can grab my big one here. So the tournament winners. That's a giant glass of wine. Don't tell my wife. Right. So the tournament winners. So we have two contests for the tournament here. It was because for a variety of reasons trying to figure out exactly how the scoring was going to work on the contests with this match play and all of that. Where what we ultimately got to was you needed to play 9 holes to be able to get through to get a low score. And we have two categories. One is a couple, so a game in which it would be the best players that were most competitive with each other overall. And then we're going to have the individual winners. So I'm very proud to announce that the winners of the first category, which is the team, let me see if I can grab my other hand. No line for me. But the couple, or the game that had the lowest score, is, I'm very happy to announce, it's our own Chris Madsen and Tippetap. So congratulations, everybody. You know, we're going to raise these things out. So they came out the lowest couple score. And I'm very happy as we announce the final category here, the final winner. It's someone that I think was really, in many ways, the unofficial fourth member of the operations team. He helped many of you, during the Zoom sessions to help get the codes worked out. And it turns out that he ended up playing, I think, 8 different rounds over the course of the day, not only for himself, but for playing everybody. And through the course of that, he actually ended up scoring the lowest possible score on the course we were tracking. And so, with no surprise to anybody, I would really like to offer my sincere thanks and gratitude to Andre Lunev, our champion winner of the very first Ready Player Golf. Where are you? Here we go. Andre's over here. So, a couple of closing thoughts. Number one is that, of course, none of this is possible without the donors. And we had some very significant donors, literally starting from the top. David Whelan, incredible generosity, not only for helping us with the Engage platform and providing teams, but also just the financial contribution himself. Joseph Michaels, as well as Ahmad Isaki, Jake Pretty, and Ryan Engels and his entire family, and the investors in his company from ProPutt also made very significant contributions to the total. So I really would like to, offer a hand-waving thank you to all of you from the donor side of things. We really could not have done that without you. And then finally, there's 2 people that I personally would really like to recognize, and if possible, I'd like to have them join me on the stage. Ben, Sophia, is it possible for you guys to come up? So really, this is entirely something that we could not do alone. Sophia, if you think of her as the front of the house, she's the one who really said, hey, Richard, you've got some good ideas, but here's the right way to do it, to be able to engage with communities, to really kind of like build up support for this. So Sophia, as I'm sure all of you know, has really, been like the front of this and has really been incredible on helping us to get to where we are. So thank you very much, Sophia. I will always be grateful. And in the back of the house, if you will, we have Ben, who actually, the tournament matching system, the technology, all of that stuff, due to some issues out of everyone's control, things got turned upside down at the last minute. And Ben said, okay, here's what we need to do. And he then explained a very technical system using a custom database with like interfaces and all this stuff. And I said, Ben, here's the deal, man. If you think it's going to work, I trust you. And so he put the time and the effort into it. We had a late night getting kind of the final details done, but I think all of you can acknowledge and recognize that actually the way the matching was coming together and putting all that stuff and being able to be together in Zoom and just bang out codes and things like that, I think for the state of the industry and where it is, we really saw the future yesterday, and I think I expect to see a lot of that propagating. And quite honestly, Ben, a lot of that was to you, and so thank you very much. We that was awesome. All right, so with no other things, that's it. I'm a firm believer in short and sweet is the way to do these sorts of things. So we're going to turn the ambience music back up again. Everyone's welcome to mingle a bit more, and then otherwise either go play some golf, or you can go tour Engage, or there's all sorts of things we can do. But again, thank you much. Thank you, everybody. This really has been an incredible journey, and I guarantee we're going to do this again. There'll be a Ready Player Golf 2. Maybe as soon as February, and so we will keep you posted. So thank you very much. Goodbye. All right, I think that's it.